Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of NC-17 with Josh and Lisa. Lisa's out and about doing her thing. Uh, we have with us, as always, a very talented and courageous person because she's going through a little bit of pain right now.
We'll be all right. Thank you, Josh. We'll be okay.
We got Abby from Motor City Nerds, who, if you haven't subscribed to her channel, wake up and do it. You know.
Thank. I've been slacking, but we're getting back to it now. I'm really excited about some stuff.
Oh yeah. Today's episode, we're going to review the 2024 Max Original Salem's Lot.
I was really excited when you texted me if we wanted to talk about it this soon, because I was like, he's going to want to talk about the original, and I just didn't know if you were going to get to it as quick as I was getting on it. But I'm really excited to talk about this with certain things they did, and then other things I think they struggled with. But I don't think it was the movie's fault. I think it was studio stuff.
Oh yeah, all hands down. Yeah. First and foremost, I would like, before we get into the review, in the last weekend of December, we're gonna have the NC-17 year-end awards. And as you being the content creator of the year last year,
thank you. No, I appreciate that so much. I really do.
Oh yeah. We will be having another content creator of the year. I've already spoken to the content creator. So if you want to come on and kind of like help with the award show.
Yes, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, Josh.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Today we're gonna do a 45-minute show, and then we're gonna let you get your rest because I know you need it. Yeah. I need it too. Look at those bags.
Well, who knows? Who knows if I'll just do one, but we'll see in a minute. But no, I was really excited for this. I mean, we're both Stephen King freaks. We're both horror junkies. You more than me, of course, but I was pleasantly surprised with this.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are excited about it.
They are excited, but a lot of people are doing what the cliches do. They're going into it, comparing it to the original.
Right. And I think that everybody forgets about the 2004 one, which I haven't watched that one in a long time, but people are mainly critiquing it against the one from the 70s. But here's my thing is that was a mini series and they got it's like 4.5 hours. We watch Salem's Lot every year, me and my family. It's like our thing. I love Salem's Lot. It's like our every Halloween together, me and my sisters and my mom. It was my dad's favorite vampire movie. I get it. The stuff at the window is iconic.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Barlow is iconic. But for this only being what, 2 hours and some change?
Yeah.
This did a good job.
It did.
This did a really good job. And I really liked it. And I really liked Ben Mears in this.
Yes.
I really liked Mark Petrie. That kid did not give a shit. That kid did not care. And every Mark Petrie's like that. But we haven't gotten one that's legit like 10 years old. And this one was like, I do not care. I am in this church getting supply. When he walked in the church like a grown man and was like, I'm here for supplies and then I'll get out of your way. I was like, I freaking love this kid. So I did like the actors. I thought they all did a really good job, but I would be very interested to see what ended up on the cutting room floor.
There will be a physical copy of it when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. It's going to be the first Max Original that they're actually going to release on physical media.
Well, I thought it was odd when it popped up and said New Line did it. And I know there was some discrepancy with this. And then Stephen King earlier this year was like, how come you guys aren't putting this out? I don't understand. I really liked what you guys were doing. And that's kind of what piqued everybody's interest again, I think. But I could see where if this had different editing and maybe was a bit longer, this could have been a theatrical release.
Oh yeah, hands down. I think this one could have been a theatrical release.
I agree. I do too. I think I definitely, there was a couple things where I'm like, oh, they said this, but why didn't? And I was like, oh, I bet you they did, and they cut this down for runtime.
Yeah, I will say this though, to kind of piggyback off what you said about Mark. That character from the original to the 2004 to this one, to me, it seems like the original was kind of annoying. The
Yes,
2004 was definitely annoying.
I'd agree with that.
This one was just badass.
Right. And he didn't even care when his parents were getting killed. He was just like, you're all dumb. But I really liked even on the playground when
Oh yeah,
when the kid punched him, and then he was like, I'm not running away. And then we set that up for the whole movie. He's like, I'm not running away from my town. I'm not leaving. I'm gonna stand and fight against this. And I was like, I really like this kid. He's awesome. I really liked the doctor, and I did not mind things they left out, like the affair between the realist. I didn't mind that they changed Susan to the real estate worker, and they cut a bunch of what the old one, the original has, and the book. If we're not even going to get into that totally, it's that small town life, and I feel like this focused more on what would you do if everybody was changing in 3 days, where that one focused more on small town, and that's, I mean, it is cheesy. It is funny at points, but you have like the town drunk and you have the town drama, and we're really honing in on small town life. And
oh
in
yeah,
this, it's like, no, we're honing in on the fact that everybody's going to be changed in the week and it's done.
oh yeah. Uh, so here, not a lot of people know this, but if you go into the credits, so Alfie Woodward, the lady who played the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that little boy who played Mark is her grandson
Really?
in
That's
real life.
cute.
You know,
That's cute. I like that.
uh,
That's sweet.
let's. I don't know if you're gonna agree with this because I know it being a vampire movie. Everyone's like the vampire is gonna do what they. That doctor got fucked up when she got shot.
Oh, yes, yes. No, and I
Oh,
liked
like,
Crazy Mom. I liked the Crazy Mom going mental stuff. I did. I liked the drive-in stuff.
oh
I
yeah,
thought that was really cool. I thought that was cool because even in the original movie, don't do they have the last stand at the Marston house?
yeah,
And then because I think in the book it's the like the boarding house. It's somewhere else though. It's
yeah.
not always, and that's why I'm like, no, they've always kind of changed things. But I liked the drive-in stuff. I
Oh yeah,
thought that was cool. I really liked Ben Mears. I
yeah.
really liked his take on that. And rest in peace, David Soul. He passed this year, but I think this is the best adaptation from the book version of Ben Mears we've ever gotten.
Stephen King even went on record saying that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
No, for sure. He definitely was.
Oh yeah. Uh, one of the things. All right. So I rate all my movies. I'm gonna rate it later. But one of the things that was a downfall for me was how easy it was to trick Susan. I'm like, really?
That did irk me. But one thing I do want to ask you, I thought Kurt Barlow in the beginning, when they first showed him go past the light, and even the full shots of him where you could really see, like, it was a little CGI'd, but for the most part was practical. I thought he looked great. I
Oh,
thought that was really creepy and really good. And I mean, nothing's going to compare to the original. I don't want to keep saying that, but this one was really good.
oh yeah. Well, so the original compared to this one, and I really hate doing this, but with some movies you have to.
Hmm.
The original Barlow, iconic.
Oh, yeah. The
I mean,
best.
just in every single scene he was in, regardless if he was saying something or what he was doing, he stole the scene.
Even to this day, though, I think a lot of people, even if they don't know Salem's Lot, they might not even know the name of that character. I think a lot of people mix him up with Nosferatu.
Oh
I think
yeah,
a lot of people share that photo or post a gif of him or whatever it is, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is." And I think it's that big that it surpasses just people who know what it is.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Uh, let's talk about that for a second though, because Stephen King went on record in saying that Barlow could be in the same vein as Nosferatu, but
There's
only
definitely a
yeah, just
inspiration there.
yeah. And the thing is like when you had the original writer, like saying what he likes, what he doesn't like, what this could be, what that could be. I mean, that gives fans like us more insight on, okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right. And that's my thing too. And I said this, I mean, I say it all the time with Rings of Power or whatever. Like, even if something isn't something you really, really love, this might be the first time a 14-year-old is even hearing about Salem's Lot. So if it makes anybody go to the store and go, I'm going to pick that book up or I'm going to watch the old one, I'm happy. I think that's awesome. I think that's cool to introduce a new generation or new people to something and see a different take on it. I liked that they didn't. I was kind of worried when they first said they were doing this that they were going to put it in present day. And I
Yeah.
was like, no. And so I was glad to see it back in the 70s. It was awesome. It was cool. But no, it's awesome hearing Stephen King say this stuff because even before he was like, it has an old school vibe to it. Everything I've seen so far from the movie. And I agree with him. There was still, I thought the the Danny Glick at the window stuff is always creepy.
Oh
They
yeah.
did that really well. One thing I'm gonna hype this up on, lighting. It knew
Yes.
how to, yes, it knew how to use lighting, it knew how to use fog. We didn't have to have this huge like woods or backyard. It was like when they did the seesaw and you could just see the end of it, or you could
Yeah.
just see through the fog, or you could see the getting dark in the background. And it was like almost like a stage play.
Oh
That
yeah.
was cool. That was really awesome. And I could see where you could watch dailies of that and go, I like what you're doing here. And it looks old school and you're doing basic movie tricks here. We're not going crazy with it.
Yeah. I will say this though, like you know me, everyone knows me. I'm a big component of cinematography. Cinematography. So if you can film something to a point to where it's like, damn, I'm getting goosebumps. I mean, come on, let's face it. When they pull up to that teacher's house and those vampires are just sitting on the roof.
The roof stuff, all the roof stuff was great. Or the all the kids in the tree around the tree house.
Yes.
That was all really cool. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about the whole, you're getting the vibe that no, this whole city's taken over quickly,
Oh
but
yeah.
the coolest stuff was them on the roof. And I liked when Ben said that. He's like, they're on the roof right now. Like they're out here right now.
Oh yeah. Uh so I will say that there's a lot of things I liked about it. There's some things I will nitpick here and there, but I like the fact that, for everything I didn't like, there was 5 things I did like.
I agree 100% with that.
Like my thing is when you like if you go back and you watch the original, some of those scenes that they redid in this one
Mm-hmm.
are so like night and day.
Yes.
And like the whole basement scene, I'm like, all right, the original, cool. The remake, so much creepier.
Yes. No, there was a couple points in this where I legit jumped or was scared or it was really tense. I will say this, the kids walking in the woods and you can just see their shadow.
Oh yeah.
And when the undead keeper appeared, that genuinely scared me. I thought that was a really scary scene they did. And I thought seeing Barlow just through the eye holes, that was really smart. I
Oh,
thought there were some parts of this that I thought were genuinely scary, and I know the story. And so I'm just like, oh yeah, what this was genuinely creepy. I enjoyed it. And I could see where if you're not super into Stephen King and you just want to watch this on Max, you'd really like it. Or at least to kick off the Halloween season with, it's good.
oh yeah. I will say all the vampire makeup was really on point. You know, I do like the kind of updated version of Barlow though, because they kind of made him look like a 70s punk rocker.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm here for it.
He had a vibe, that's for sure. Because do you want to know what's funny is I was just talking to my mom. I'm like, didn't they in the '04 one make it just an old man?
Yep.
And I was like, no, isn't he? Because then I'm thinking, is he disfigured in the book? And I was like, no, he totally is. Because then we're getting into Dark Tower stuff and it's a whole thing. So I was like, no, he's definitely the one thing I really like about Barlow that they did in the original and this one is that not only does he look different, but specifically his fangs are always different.
Oh
Like in
yeah.
the original, the front teeth are it. I don't know if it was like that with this one, but his mouth was like it was like Pennywise. It
Yes.
was not right. And I thought I really liked Kurt Barlow in this, and that was what I was mostly worried about. I was like, what's he look like?
Oh yeah. So the funny thing is this movie was supposed to have been released years ago.
Right. Right. I that's why I'm like, where is this? I didn't think we'd get it.
We weren't going to. So what happened was is because with every movie they have test screens to see if people are gonna like it.
Hmm.
So in the original, and I had to do a lot of homework for this. So in the for not the original, but for the first remake of this one,
Hmm.
it was set in 2000s.
Yes.
And test audience was like, no. So they went back and they were like, all right, well, let's go to the 90s. Audience was like, no. They were like 80s. It was a mixed bag. Some were like, yes, some were like, no. But when they went to the time dated stuff of the 70s and everything like that, that's when every single audience that saw it was like, okay, now we're talking. Yeah.
I can see that. My thing with this is, do you think they wanted to try to tie this into possible connections to their Welcome to Dairy show? Maybe, or like because they have Welcome to Dairy and they have the Dark Tower coming. And
Yeah.
when they started pulling a lot of stuff, especially the beginning credits, I really like that. And they were showing all the clippings of all the evil stuff that's gone on
Yeah.
around Salem Plot. I was like, it's like Dairy. Are we trying to do something with that? And then I'm like, with the way everything was coming together, like HBO was going to Max, and they were pulling the plug on what? Batgirl. They were
Yep.
pulling the plug on big stuff. So I'm like, did you guys get this and make it, and then go, oh shit, we have those other things now. We
Oh
should,
yeah.
and maybe that affected things. I'm not saying this is connected to everything. I'm saying maybe HBO was going, should we wait? Should we connect it? Should we put it out with that? And then it's like, no, let Salem's Lot be its own thing. If you already it's already made, just
Yeah.
leave, let it go. But I was wondering that, where I'm like, oh, because you guys are talking a lot about it being evil here and other things. And then I was like, okay, well, we didn't move it forward in time, like the new It, and
Oh,
but it could still be a blip in that. I'm not saying it would be a factor, but like a huge focal point. But I'm like, we
yeah.
know how things are nowadays. They want to make everything a huge universe, which would be cool. But
Yeah.
now people have already made a film. Don't do that.
Well, I'm going to blow your mind here for a second. And I'm good with these things. Go to the remake of It, Chapter 1.
I almost watched that
That
today.
house that they go into,
Okay.
not similar to the house that's in Salem's Lot.
When I first saw it, I remember thinking like, is that on purpose? But maybe not. And I'm gonna have to rewatch. I haven't watched the I think I watched the second chapter like last Halloween. I don't think I've watched the first chapter in a while now. Yeah, probably a couple years. I'm gonna rewatch it. But I remember thinking they care. There was a few things in that where I'm like, not only did you stay way closer to the book, but there's references to other stuff here for sure.
Oh, yeah. I will say, though, what I like about the original, the 2004, and this one is at the beginning of the movie when he's driving into town, they had that one key focal point, and that's exactly where it ends.
Yes. Through the whole thing, they did that. I liked that through the whole thing, whether they were like down on Main Street, you could always see the Marston house
Oh, yeah.
looming over it. And I was like, I really like that. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
like that a lot. I loved that a whole lot. There was a couple things I thought I liked having Father Callahan there because I just like Father Callahan. And
Yeah.
I did like him and Barlow's back and forth. But I was like, I wish they wouldn't have gone so over the top and throwing him through the church window
Yeah.
and kept it more, because they were doing most stuff was pretty basic, and until we got a couple big things like that. I'm not hating on it. It was fine, but I was like, the subtlety here, you're doing really well, and I really like it.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish a couple things would have toned down a bit, but I'm not complete. Like I said, the standing on rooftops, the creeping around the house, that was all perfectly done.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about you, but like to me, the iconic scenes in the original in the 2004, they're always going to be iconic.
Oh yeah.
But for me, the most iconic scene in this version is where Barlow's standing on top of the concession stand and a camera from the projector. That to me, that could be the cover of the whole damn movie.
No, that was cool. That was super cool. And then, like you said, I think the basement stuff was way scarier with the teacher. And I thought that, and him getting Mark out, I thought that was all really creepy and really great. And like you were saying, those scenes are always going to be iconic. It doesn't mean that different scenes in this one can't be that one didn't do. And I think, and a lot of people get hung up on that, where I knew they'd have to handle the window right. That is a scary scene,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think they did great. They didn't get too crazy with it because that I think we got so used to. I think creepy vampires are making a huge comeback this year.
Yes.
Creepy original vampires are making a huge comeback, and I even liked Straker.
Oh yeah.
Euron Greyjoy was there. Euron Greyjoy was doing fine, and I did like him. I just wish we would have got a bit more with him, and that's why I'm like, I bet there was.
Oh, there was. There
Yeah,
was. But let's talk about Mark
sucks
beating
that we
his
can't get
ass.
miniseries anymore. Sorry,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
no. But let's talk about
those are
Mark.
like events.
Oh yeah, Mark fucked him up.
Yeah, that was when I was like, oh my God. I was like, no, this kid's when he grabbed it and just walked over like a grown man, I was like, there's no way. And then my mom was like, finally. Because my mom always gets mad when someone leaves somebody alive. But I was like, oh my God, you're like, and then I remember thinking, like, oh, he's gonna run right for help after that. No, Mark wanted no help. He didn't want anybody to hold him up.
Oh yeah. Now, I will say this: I do like. All right, so when Mark told his friend, "I'm gonna set you free,"
Well, I thought he was going to go for Barlow, and then he's like, "Nope, I'm setting you free."
I was like, "That was awesome."
That was awesome because I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I did not think that was going to happen. I really thought we always get that now of going, "Oh, we got to save him." And he's like, "No, this is me holding my word up and but this is the only option we have."
Oh yeah. Let's talk about when Susan ran out of the church.
I was just about to say her writhing around in the church was scary.
Oh yeah, you know when she ran out of the church and he ran after her. All of a sudden you heard, and they're on the roof. Then all of a sudden you heard, and they're on the ground. I was like, I'm sold.
No, because that's what we want. Like you just want to hear like and you just know they're there. I think that that's another thing that if you're not a movie freak like us, you might forget about, which is a lot of times when something's really great, they don't show us what it is. If you leave something up to our mind, it's way scarier to the viewer if you do it correctly.
Oh yeah,
It's Jaws in a nutshell. Like we know it's a shark, but we don't see it. It's in the water. That's what makes it scarier. And just hearing nails scratching and creeping and creaking around Kurt Barlow just walking down the stairs, just hearing scratching at the door or up the walls is way scarier to me than constantly having to show it. And I feel like audiences now, not to be mean, but are kind of dumb. And like if you don't show everything, I mean, people make a whole career off of going, let me tell you 20 billion things that are wrong with it. And it's like we don't need every single thing spoon fed to us, especially in horror.
oh yeah, no,
Creepy noises go a long way.
hell yeah. There's one scene I do want to mention, and it kind of takes me to kind of like the American Werewolf in London feel, along with like Halloween. That scene where he's digging the grave, and then he wakes up. When that little boy pops his head up and then went back down, I was like,
No,
okay,
that was scary. That was scary too. And then I was thinking, because even in the original one, I always think that that's kind of the scariest one.
oh yeah,
And I think in the original, he has a dog that ends up dead too. But all this creepy stuff is happening at the cemetery. And it's like, that would be unnerving just to be like, this kid's dying, his brother's missing. This is happening. And I'm thinking I'm hearing something,
oh yeah,
let alone someone banging on a casket. And that's especially a kid, like everything about that one is always creepy to me. When that head popped up, I was like, oh my God, that was awful. Another one I really liked was when he goes to the teacher's house
yeah,
and he turned and he's wiggling out the door. That was creepy. That was really well done. There's a couple things in here that were just unnerving,
yeah.
and that and the head popping up, I think we're up there.
Oh yeah. Now, one thing I hated with the original, and I know I'm going to get flack for this because I
You
know.
need to remember that was a TV movie,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's we all love it. It's believe me, I love the original Salem's Lot, but a lot of it is absurd.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of it, there's a lot of absurd things going on in that movie. There's a man hiding behind a door during an affair who, when Ted Nibbits or whatever pops out and punches David's soul, it's hilarious. So everybody needs to chill out too. We love the original too, but it wasn't like this masterpiece
Oh
of
yeah.
making. It's very good. We love it, but it's not Citizen Kane of TV movies or something.
Oh yeah. Well, the scene, the graveyard scene, where in the original, it's you can see clear as day it's daylight,
Yes.
and all of a sudden he just jumps in a grave, and then all of a sudden he opens the casket. That motherfucker would have burst into flames,
Yes.
and I'm sitting there thinking like, I don't care if he got overcast, overshadowed, that he's going to die.
I liked that they handled that more in this new one where they were showing the sun technically going down. I liked when they even said just because when the doctor's like just because the sun just went down doesn't mean they're gonna wake up. We don't know nothing about, and then all of a sudden her arm falls, and you're like, oh no, we are sticking. That is one thing with Salem's Lot as a whole. We are sticking to vampire lore.
Oh yeah.
There's no tricks besides with Barlow of like I'm gonna smash your crucifix, but it's crucifixes, it's garlic, it's the basics, and they work. And I think that's another really appealing part of Salem's Lot in general.
Oh yeah.
Is it's not like other things where these ones are like this and these ones all can fly and this one can do this and that one can do that and they got powers, and it's like no, these are just undead creatures besides Barlow.
Yeah. Well, also if you remember the 2004 one, so this is gonna, I'll admit I cheated. I went today and I watched the original part two and the 2004.
Okay. Okay. It's been a
So
minute since I watched '04, but I remember thinking a couple things were scary in it, but I'll keep going. And Rob Lowe.
in that one, they didn't fly. They just ran fast.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. And then like the whole Ruth thing in 2004, that added more to the story. But I'm like, did we need that? And this one proved we did not.
Yeah. Right. Right. And that's the thing too, is like I like Susan and Ben, but that is like they met 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like they liked each other, but we really don't need a full like, what what will happen with them? Because it's like shit, that sucks. Like I really liked you. You were really cool. I wish this wasn't the case, but here we are. I
Oh
don't,
yeah.
I don't think any of us planned for this. Oh, and that's the other part too. I really liked them in the very beginning going, you're picking up the coffin, it's getting here, boom, boom, boom. And we start off from there instead of, I think it's like halfway, maybe not halfway, but at least an hour into the original before they're like, we got to go pick up that crate because that's what plays into the affair
Yep.
and all that stuff. And like I said, I love that part of the original, but do we have to have it for a one feature film? No, we
No.
don't. Even though I love when they're like, it's cold. What are we gonna do? But I was like, no, I really like them being like bing, bang, boom, got it. It's here. We're starting from there real quick.
Oh yeah. I mean, after I watched the remake that came out just yesterday, I went upstairs and told Lauren, I was like, look, this is what's gonna happen. You ever get bit by a vampire, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I don't care.
No, here's my favorite part was
Well, I'm not gonna kill nobody. I don't want to get banned.
no, it's just all funny jokes. Nothing is for real. No. No, we don't want to hurt anybody. But no, I really liked, or no, that's not what I was going to say. I'm sorry, Josh. Now I'm getting caught up thinking about terms of service. You got me scared now. I'm like, I'd stake them right in the heart. But no, my mom was saying stuff too. She was just like, no, we would all want to take these people out. Like, I would not be keeping you around and stuff. And I was like, right, exactly. But I did like them keeping the mom around, and I did like her lines of. This was really good at. We're gonna say a line of dialogue. I say this all the time. If you're on the channel, I say this all the time with Game of Thrones, with Rings of Power, with House of the Dragon, especially. You can fix so many things with just a line of dialogue. And we saw the mom like dancing with Straker and being all friendly, but she had a line of dialogue where she's like, no, he chose me. I'm going to be his keeper while he sleeps and all this crap. And I'm like, no, this is whether or not I like it, you said it. So it
Yeah.
makes sense to be here going crazy. I did. I really liked it, but I did also like I said, basics. We're killing people. We're done here. Mark's not playing around. Vampires have basic things that we all know from the lore. But the one thing I'm like, I wish they would have said a little bit more was the crosses lighting up.
Yeah.
That's the one thing where I'm like, did anybody even acknowledge that happening?
Nope.
Or was that, I kind of thought maybe us as the viewer only saw it until the teacher was using it as a light in the.
Yeah. Well, also,
But I think there probably was, and it got cut.
oh, there probably was.
That's why I'm like, I really was watching it going, I bet you there's a couple things, nothing huge, but there's a few things where I'm like, I guarantee you there was more here.
Oh yeah, especially in the church when Susan was turning because the doctor looked clearly at the cross that was glowing on the wall. I'm
Yes.
like, all right, there's got it. Yeah, I agree.
That was my one thing where I'm like, are we gonna acknowledge it? Okay, maybe not. Whatever. We'll just go with it. But like I said, I really like that. And I mean, I love Interview with the Vampire and I love all of that and everything. But like I said, it's been, I can't think of the last time we just got, they're evil. They're evil and garlic affects them and crosses affect them and holy water affects them. They can't go in the church
Yeah.
and we're just off to the races and don't feel bad for anybody.
Oh yeah. So we got about 7 minutes left.
I was gonna say, do you want to go on? If I'm back early tomorrow, do you want to go on and talk about the original?
Oh hell yeah.
I was gonna say no because I have more time tomorrow, but I really wanted to talk about this because I enjoyed this, and I think if you're not a stickler, this is a good one to check out if you like scary vampire stuff or Stephen King. It's definitely worth a watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. What would you rate it? 1 to 10, 10 being best, one being worse.
Oh man, okay. See, I might put it into different categories. So as an adaptation,
Mhm.
I would probably put it at an 8.
An 8. Okay.
Maybe an 8 for an adaptation, maybe even 9. But I would just want a little bit more insight to characters. I'd probably keep it at an 8 for an adaptation. But as a vampire movie, I'm gonna give this a solid 7.5, maybe 7.8, like close to an 8 for me.
Oh yeah. Uh, so my take on the whole thing is especially after watching the other three. I saw the ups and downs of all of them.
Right.
So I'm going to say with this one, I'm giving it a strong 8.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Uh,
because I see when I think of things I'm going to compare this one to, I'm not going to compare it to the original. I'm going to compare it to Fright Night. I'm going to
yes.
compare things like that. So I'm like, as a vampire movie, yeah, it's good. It's up there. As
Oh
a
yeah.
on its own, yeah, it is. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
even let's be honest. We love Salem's Lot, the original, but I'm like, if we were really gonna critique it, I don't think it would score an 8.
The original,
Like I'm like iconic vampire, probably one of if not the best design for vampire ever.
yeah.
Scary factor above all of them. It is very creepy and scary. But as a film, I guarantee you, me and you could go, we could have cut. We could have cut a lot of this out. Like,
Yeah. We could have cut it down.
and I'm being a snob when I say that. Like, if we're really gonna nitpick, we technically don't need a lot of this.
Well, if we do a show tomorrow, we can go through that.
We could, yeah. And that's why I'm like, no, this is good. I'm gonna stand on that. This is good. And I thought it had a great little, I know it's not a poster, but it's what we get as posters now with
Yeah.
the hand creeping behind the kit. I liked it.
Oh yeah. One last thing. Let's talk about the music.
Great soundtrack. I really like the use of Gordon Lightfoot. That is
Yes.
awesome to me. That was really cool. And I did like, you could tell there was inspiration, but it wasn't identical.
Yes.
I thought the music in this was really well done.
Oh yeah. So Stephen King handpicked every single song for this movie
Of
because he
course.
was the executive producer. So
That's what I mean. Like, oh, he really was on board. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I can see that because he loves his jams. But no, I loved this. I really did. I really liked this a lot. And like I said, I'm going to stand on that's the best Ben Mears we've ever had. Probably the best Mark Petrie we've had.
Oh yeah.
And Kurt Barlow, I was worried about Kurt Barlow. That was the one I was most worried about. And then I'm like, oh no, he's scary. He's scary and he's creepy, and I don't like looking at him.
He kind of reminded me of like how the vampires looked in 30 Days of Night.
Yes. See, there's another jam. We should talk about that. Because I bring that up a lot, Chad. Honestly, what time is it? If you want to go one more, I can do one more. Because honestly, I don't know what's happening now, right? But I'll tell you in text. But no, 30 Days of Night is a movie I bring up a lot. Because the guy in The Crow, I
Yep.
can never remember that actor's name. I'm like, 30 Days of Night, head vampire. And people are like, what are you talking about? Me and my sister were really, that's one of my mom's go-to answers for things. I'll be like, remember this movie? And she'll be like, is this that weird Alaskan vampire movie? No, mom. 30 Days of Night was great. We watched that so much. But if you want to talk about vampires some more, I can shell out another 45 minutes. But I did enjoy this.
It was good. It was good. Like I said, I gave it an 8. Soundtrack wise, I'm going to give it a 10.
Oh yeah, jams. It's and the way they used Sundown was cool. I like that.
Oh yeah. Uh
My mom's a big Gordon Lightfoot fan. I really like that song.
we yeah.
No, I'm
he's in
just
his
like
house.
I we are really lucky to be able to even nitpick like what Stephen King stuff we like or dislike.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my other thing. I feel like I'm getting old and soft though, because I'm like, we literally are like, oh, they're coming out with a Welcome to Derry show. Oh, and they're coming out with the Dark Tower, and maybe they're connected, but who knows? And it's like the fact that we can even say they're coming out is so cool. And to get a decent adaptation of this story was cool. I
Oh,
liked it. I loved this. I'm glad they did it.
oh yeah. Oh no, I'm right there with you. Speaking of Welcome to Derry, with 2.5 minutes left, when that show comes out, because I am a 100% like diehard fan of that. Like, I mean, you saw my Pennywise stuff.
Oh yeah, we're invested.
Every episode, every week, I'm going to do a review show.
Good. And I was gonna say, if you want to come to my channel and we'll go live after every episode, I'm down because I really miss doing that. And I realized I've really gotten away from it since True Detective. And I was like, why did I ever stop doing that? That was so fun. Because there's a bunch of people that are like, I want to talk about this too, right after you watch it. And no, I'm down to do that. And I'm really excited for that. I'm hoping we can talk about that too if you want. But no, because then again, like Pennywise is a vampire technically, and it's all crazy. And that's why I'm like, man, I hope they do you hope they reference this in Welcome to Derry?
They will.
I hope they do. I hope they're just like, didn't you hear what happened to Salem's Lot? That's the best part about Stephen King is that you can just do that. We don't even need like if they're just like, did you hear what happened in Salem's Lot? The whole town died. And then you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, we were there. Or like have Mark Petrie show up. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. Now here's one thing, and then we'll set up another show. So in Stephen King's original Stand, they do reference Salem's Lot.
Yes. No, Salem's Lot gets Father Callahan is in the Dark Tower. I'm like, it's all there. It's all there for the taking. HBO, just call us. But no, because that's when I'm like, they could. I just love it. I just love it. Reference it all.
All right. We're gonna cut here. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Grab your drinks. Maybe we'll go live.
I could do that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
I guess that works.
All right. Until then, stay NC-17.